Hello and welcome to the Daily Meal for Monday, the 20th of December 2021. Now, we have a statement from the EFL about the situation that's ongoing. So, what have they said? So, league schedule to continue. The EFL can confirm that its programme of games in the league, Carabao Cup and Papa John's Trophy, will continue with fixtures to be played where it is safe to do so, and set squad criteria can be fulfilled by clubs. And that criteria is, I believe, they need to have 14 first team, in quotes, whatever that is, first team players available. 11 starters and 3 subs, even though this season they have concussion substitutes, but it's still only the 3 subs. So there you go, that's the rules. While the league acknowledges there will likely be future postponements to navigate where COVID-19 cases are identified, there is optimism that disruption can be minimised following implementation of red protocols, a daily testing regime, and ongoing vaccination rollout. That's what I said. I told you about that in an earlier video earlier this week, or early last week now. Commenting, EFL Chief Executive Trevor Birch said, "Throughout the pandemic, our 2 priorities have been ensuring the welfare of those involved in EFL competitions and ensuring the fixture schedule can continue where it is safe to do so. We will continue to work with clubs, authorities and other agencies to monitor the COVID-19 case rate and be prepared to respond accordingly, yet for now, the view remains that we can continue to deliver games safely where clubs have sufficient healthy personnel in place on and off the pitch. With club mitigation measures, the mass adoption of booster jabs and COVID certification now required for larger crowds, we are sure many fans will continue to feel confident in attending matches over the Christmas period, and we look forward to welcoming them." So there you go, they are gonna carry on as normal. Well, not normal, because we are in a situation now until at least the end of January that you will need to show your pass to get into a football game. And that pass will either show that you've had 2 vaccinations, although that's so as I speak to you now, that is fully vaccinated. Is 2 vaccinations, but they've got the booster out now. So all of you with 2 vaccinations, I would imagine in a couple of months, if you haven't had the 3rd one, you will no longer be fully vaccinated. You will need to get that 3rd one, and then I imagine later on in probably August or September 2022, they'll say you need a 4th one, and if you don't get that, then you won't be fully vaccinated. So it's just going to keep coming and coming and coming, I believe. Yeah. They're saying as long as the players and staff of a football club are fit enough, if you have enough players to play, 14 players to play, and off the pitch, in terms of, I imagine, the functioning of a football club, those people who are very vital on a match day, as long as they're okay, it will continue as normal. And they want the crowds to be there. But that is out of their hands, because the government, well, it's not that easy now. The government, there was expectation that the government would impose more restrictions, and what they're talking about is going back to the step 2 from April 2021. I don't know if you remember that, where pubs and restaurants were open, but it was outside only. That situation there and other stuff, and we could be going back to that. So that could mean that there will be limited situation in terms of how many fans that could go, and that will be based upon the government, and that will be law, and then the EFL and Millwall Football Club would have to follow. But in order for that to happen, the government are going to have to do something that's going to be very unpopular, and that is recall the House of Parliament from their holidays. They're all on holidays at the moment, and they have to actually vote each time they make changes to the COVID stuff now. The emergency powers are gone. It has to go to a vote to Parliament. So, if you call them all back, they're not going to be happy, and they weren't happy last time. The ones, the restrictions that saw the need for passes and such at football now, which was supposed to start with us for the Preston North End game, that was voted through in Parliament, but there was a massive rebelling on the Tory backbenches, and it might happen again, or it might not. They might just vote with the government. I don't know. We will see. So the EFL statement, they're carrying on as normal. Keep calm and carry on. And that's what they say. And also, this is from a Millwall Football Club, millfc.co.uk, and this statement is not from them. This is a statement from the EFL. It's been put on Millwall Football Club, but this statement, this story was on the EFL last week. So I imagine they've told every club to put it on their own websites to share it with the fans. It says be prepared. Following, by the way, did you see that massive red thing there? I think they're trying to get you to do something. It's very in your face, isn't it? Following the UK government's introduction of Plan B measures for its autumn winter plan. Plan B, I think in America, isn't Plan B the morning after pill? Millwall Football Club is asking its supporters to be prepared before they travel to watch the Lions in action. As of Wednesday the 15th of December, COVID-19 certification is mandatory for entry into settings where large crowds gather, including unseated indoor events with 500 or more attendees, unseated outdoor events with 4,000 or more attendees, and any event with 10,000 or more attendees. As a result, supporters will need to be prepared to provide evidence of COVID-19 certification to enter football stadia where the attendance will exceed 10,000 seated or 4,000 standing. Similar legislation is already in force in Wales, with Cardiff City, Newport County and Swansea City already operating these measures. Yes, but are they being enforced? Now, there's some rumours coming out of from Spurs fans that went to the game on Sunday versus Liverpool, and apparently they weren't really checking that hard. They really weren't checking that hard. So yeah, it depends. How jobs worthy the stewards are going to be. Are they going to be puffed up with a sense of their own importance that they could deny you entry to a football game and willingly look to do that? Or are they just going to think, I don't really care, it's not worth it, and just wave you through? We will see. I don't know. Now, it could go either way at Millwall, and Mill fans would take umbrage with certain actions of stewards if they get a bit busy. COVID pass. To ensure that you can continue to watch the Lions in person this season in a safe manner, it's imperative that you play your part by ensuring you have valid COVID-19 passes or proof of certification in advance of match day. For full details about the pass, you need to download. Click on here. So be prepared. Check the club's latest guidance. Ensure you have valid certification on you before you leave. The best form is the pass that you need to download, or use. You need to take a picture of it, a screenshot of it, in case you get no signal on your phone. So you bring your original printed pass. So they are letting you use your actual paper pass. if you are unable to use the digital version. Oh, that's good of them. There was some talk that wouldn't be allowed, but it seems they are doing that. A negative so is for you who aren't fully vaccinated, which at present is 2, as I said, a lateral flow test, a negative result will be permissible. Make sure your passes are easily accessible. Test before travel. So if you are testing, what do? You will need to take a test within 48 hours of attending the match. So no longer than 48 hours before the game, which would be, what would that be? So for Swansea game, that would be Friday. That would be Christmas Eve, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Even if you are double vaccinated, you must not attend if you feel ill. I hope, and that goes without reason that you wouldn't do that. I mean, if you are feeling ill, I imagine you wouldn't want to go anywhere anyway. But there you go. So that's enough of that. Let's get into the football. Millwall Loanwatch, because there was no Millwall game, as you all know, but Millwall players were playing, but not for Millwall. So Isaac Olaofe played for Sutton United. So he's come back from his injury, which I probably understand why they made sure he was fully fit before coming back, because of the style of play that he plays. He's presses a lot up front. He's very energetic, so you need him to be fully functioning. Indeed. And he's just come off the bench. So Isaac Olaofe, this is from news@den.co.uk, by the way. Isaac Olaofe made his comeback from injury as Sutton United continued their remarkable season by beating Harrogate Town 1-0 on Saturday to move into the automatic promotion spots. Fantastic. Sutton United doing it there. Olaofe had recovered from a dead leg and came on in the 69th minute for Matt Gray's side. Donovan Wilson scored the only goal in the 31st minute as Sutton took advantage of a number of games being postponed due to COVID-19 outbreaks to move up to third, 4 points off Northampton and 8 behind Forest Green. Not bad, not bad. There are only 3 other games in League 2, including Leyton Orient's 1-0 defeat away to Tranmere Rovers. Defender Alex Mitchell wasn't involved as Kenny Jackett's side lost to Jay Spearing's goal. And they only had 14 players on the bench. Well, they only had the 14 players in their squad. So did Alex Mitchell get COVID? Is that what knocked him out? I don't know. So Tranmere moves up. Well, that's his own business. So if he wants to tell us he's had it, he can tell us that. It's no one's business to know what if you've had COVID or not. But a lot of people are happy to tell anyone I had it and this is what it did to me or what it didn't do to me. But no, it's none of anyone's business really. So Tranmere moved up to 5th while Orient stayed 9th. Sutton are due to travel to Bristol Rovers and Leyton Orient to Colchester United on Boxing Day. And now we go to the non-league teams, and they were actually playing in the FA Trophy, not in the National League. So in the third round of the FA Trophy, Dan Moss played right back as Yeovil Town scored 3 times in the last 9 minutes to beat Woking 3-1 at Ewish Park. Wow, what a game. Ali Youssef scored twice and Tom Knowles got the other after Tavon Campbell had given the visitors the first half lead. So they won 3-1. There was no respite for Junior Tenzian's Dover Athletic away from National League action. Dover lost 1-0 at home to Bromley in the third round of the FA Trophy, with Finley Lovett scoring the winner for the visitors. Dover hosts Dagenham and Redbridge, and Yeovil travelled to Torquay United in the National League on Boxing Day. So local games there, basically. Meanwhile, Hayden Muller wasn't involved yet again in bottom side St John's 2-0 defeat at Motherwell in the Scottish Premier League. And the Saints host Ross County in the league on Wednesday. What's happening up there? Is he injured? I assume he must be injured, because if he wasn't, why haven't they sent him back? If it's a long-term injury, he's been out. He hasn't played for like a month. He's missed maybe 4 games. Very weird, very weird. And not only that, since he was being left out of the team, they've started to lose and they are now bottom of the league. Not good, not good. And there is talk Callum Davidson's job being in jeopardy, even though he won 2 cups for them last season. But they could be getting relegated, and they'll miss out on a lot of money playing in that Premier League, because the Scottish Premiership is one thing, the Scottish Division 1 is certainly another. Anyway, so let's have a look at what the Millwall website said. Basically the same thing. This is their Loanwatch that they've done. They talk about what we've just seen. So they also add that there was no action for Arthur Penne as Welland United's fixtures were postponed. So they say that, and then they give you a little heads up into the games that are coming up. Again, don't know. I imagine some of those games you may be able to get to without needing all this COVID pass stuff. I'm thinking maybe the Dover game. I'm certainly sure they don't have a 4,000 capacity, but just check with them if you're interested in going. That Welling United Dulwich Hamlet game. I imagine that's nowhere near 4,000 capacity. Might be. I imagine Dulwich Hamlet could probably bring at least 2,000 across town for that. So maybe the Welling United game you could go to without needing a COVID pass if you're being discriminated against in terms of not wanting to do any of that. You're probably gonna have to turn to non-league football if you want to go to a football game and not have to do any of that stuff. And there you go, Welling United versus Dulwich Hamlet. Should be a tasty one. There you go. But check with your Welling United before you go. Everyone has a website these days, so just check and see if they do impose any restrictions, or even if the game's still on. There you go. So let's move on now. We've actually got this about the first team. Gary Rowett speaking. Just before we get to that, if you look on the right hand side, you will see we have dropped a place. If you look at the table, Sheffield United beat I think they beat Fulham 1-0 today, if I'm not mistaken. They played today, Monday night, and they scored a goal in the 3rd minute, and they ended up beating Fulham 1-0. So not a bad result for them. But what that means is they go above us now in the table, and we are now 12th instead of 11th. So there you go. But because our game was postponed, we have a game in hand on Huddersfield and Middlesbrough. So if we win that game in hand, which is a home game against Preston North End, and we don't know when that will be, but I assume it's in February sometime. Yes, we will be right back up there. So let's get on to this story. Millwall manager on form of on-loan Liverpool winger Shea Yojo and his challenge to him. Gary Rowett wants to see Shea Yojo take the next step and consistently deliver on his talent, and the Millwall boss pointed to the example of Tom Bradshaw as someone who's currently undroppable given his recent form. Indeed, but what is the motivation for Ojo? He's on loan from Liverpool. It's like his 10th loan since he was like a 16-year-old. How does the guy keep getting motivation to want to do well and play the best that he's ever played? How would you? It's kind of hard, no? Ojo, 24, made a bright start in his season-long loan from Liverpool, getting an assist in his second game when he crossed for Matt Smith to head home at Nottingham Forest. Ojo also played a big part in the Lions' comeback win over Stoke City, crossing for Bradshaw to get his first of 2 goals. Former Cardiff winger Ojo has made 9 starts, coming as a substitute 4 times since his move from the Premier League side. Rowett has recently played Scott Malone on the left of the attack in a 4-2-3-1 formation, where Millwall have gone to 5 at the back either at the start of or during games. Jed Wallace has often played behind Bradshaw and Benicophobe. Ojo is yet to score for Millwall and has only started once since October 30th, the 2-1 defeat at Hull City last month. Yes, he's really gone on off the boil, hasn't he? Bradshaw, meanwhile, had a difficult start to the season, but his 5 goals this campaign have come in his last 7 games. The trio of Bradshaw, Phobie and Wallace should be favourites to start against Swansea City at the Den on Boxing Day if that game gets a go-ahead. Rowett knows there's a lot more to come from the talented Ojo. Shea is a player with such great potential, both athletically and technically. Rowett said, I'm sure I'm probably sat here like Liverpool, just wanting to see a tiny bit more consistent delivery of that. He's a really good lad, he fits well in a group and works incredibly hard. He's been disappointed not to have started in the last few, but it's like any other forward. You take someone like Tom Bradshaw, for example. If you go and assist and score goals, then you start. There's no way of keeping those players out of the team. For our forwards, we've said it all the time, and I know it's not as easy as that, but you've got to try and make yourself undroppable with your performances. The next step for Shea is that consistency of delivering these performances. He's capable of it. He's a very talented young player. I think it'll be down to him to a certain degree how far he goes in the game, because he's got a little bit of everything. Indeed. But we're not seeing it lately. But what's the, like I said, what's the motivation for him? If he does well, he's not going back to Liverpool. Liverpool really, he's a Liverpool player in name only. They really don't give a shit about him. They wanted to sell him when no one wanted to pay the money that they said they wanted to get for him. Then they decided to loan him out right at the last minute, and we managed to get in there and get a deal. I'm sure he's scratching his head, wondering, I was at Liverpool, now I'm on loan to Millwall. Like, what the fuck's going on? And he's gonna realise pretty soon, when his contract's up. I think it's at the end of the season. Maybe it's the season after. Yeah, he's gonna realise pretty quickly what's up. You wasted your career, not really doing anything. Although I'm sure he got a lot of money for not doing anything, but what are you gonna do? Is that money's supposed to sustain you for the rest of your life? Did he save it up? Has he managed it properly? I don't know, but he's not really doing it at the moment for us. Not really. So let's move on now to this. We're going to finish up now pretty much. This year's staemnet dash has now been cancelled. It was supposed to take place on, I think, the 18th. They moved it to the 26th. Now they've just cancelled it all together. And what does that mean? Does that mean that the Swansea City game may be cancelled? Well, I don't know if you remember in the video I did last week, a Swansea City forum said, I don't know how they knew this, if the situation with COVID at Millwall is still bad on Tuesday the 21st, which is 5 days before the game, so then Millwall will ask the EFL to postpone. So I think they're gonna, if Millwall do a round of testing on Tuesday or maybe Monday night, maybe they do it on Mondays, I'm not too sure. If they do a round of testing on Tuesday, if the tests come back positive, because training is back open now. Training is open. That was mentioned in a story on the South London Press, London News Online. Training ground has reopened. So if they're testing the players now, look out tomorrow. I'm sure tomorrow we will get inkling of whether or not that Boxing Day game will go ahead. And it's going to be pretty fucking annoying if 2 weeks in a row we don't have any Millwall football. But what are you going to do? But then I say that, I'm kind of looking forward to it. But if the game goes ahead and we play like shit, then I'm probably going to wish that it was cancelled. But there you go. Now we're going to finish this with the winner of the Christmas card cover competition. Jack Geegan has won it. He's 7 years old, so please be kind. And here you go. He's got the lines. He's got one that looks very, very, very good. The one on the left really does look like a lion. The Christmas tree Bit plain, but it's got a star on it. Got a massive trunk there. I think it might be a palm tree. Looks kind of like a palm tree. Maybe he's living in Spain. I don't know. But there you go. Fantastic. I'm got the husky chocolate on there and the electric blue kit. Fantastic. There you go. Christmas. Merry Christmas. Come on, you lions. Yes. Yes, indeed. So there you go. And that's going to be on the cover of the Swansea City program. And good. Well done. Well done, Jack. Fantastic stuff there. So that is it for today's video. Thank you for watching and goodbye.